grow your revenue. So today we're excited to focus on that revenue piece. And I would like to pass it over to our president and CEO, Betsy Gardner-Eckert, to introduce our speakers today.
Thank you, Amy. I want to welcome you all. As you know, every time we start a program, we talk about what our mission is at the Chamber of Commerce, and it's to convene people and ideas for the benefit of our businesses and our community. And we've gotten a lot better at digital convention. It's something that we dabbled in before, and now it's pretty much the way we do everything in the current environment. And I'm really grateful to our team who's done a great job of pivoting our business model to bringing people together. I know 2.5 weeks ago when we were looking at sending everybody home, I thought, but we're meant to be bringing everybody together. How in the world are we supposed to do what we're meant to do? And we're figuring it out day by day. Who you're about to hear from are two people I consider close personal friends and really respect the way they run their businesses. They elevate food to a different level in our community. And I am so happy that you're going to get to share best practices from Tim over at Park Lights, which is, as you all know, probably Luma, Prado, and Luke's, and then Mark Leggett of Arthur's Catering. So I'm going to hand it over to you guys or back to Amy, but I just want to make sure that we let y'all know how much we appreciate the presence you have in the community. We love the things that you guys have started doing in terms of, I see these dinners from both of you showing up on my Facebook feed every night. We've taken advantage of them ourselves. And so really thrilled for our community here today about what you all have done to get everything going in a different direction during a really hard time. And as always, we're here to support and affirm what you're doing. So we're thrilled to have the chance to spend time with you all today. So welcome.
Thank you.
Betsy.
So Tim, would you like to just give us a brief overview about what you've been doing recently and how you've changed your business? We can get started with that, and then we'll switch over to Mark, and then we'll do some questions.
Sure. Well, obviously, it's been a big change for us and how we normally operate, and sure it's for everyone. But the number one, I think the first thing I want to start with is just the overall health of our team, to make sure everybody's healthy and that we're operating in a very clean, sterile environment, and making sure that that whole process of packaging and getting that to the guest is seamless and very little exchange as possible, so that we're getting a nice, clean, product across the board. But, the one thing that we did have to do is really look at our menu and what we offer. Some things travel well, some things, don't travel as well. So we really kind of fine-tune that menu and also put in some real comfort things. I think right now that's what people really want, are some good comfort food items. So as we were going through this, we were really looking at, how can we, make this seamless process, bring some of those great things that everybody loves about our restaurant and the food, but also make sure it travels well and it showcases well through that process. So we're able to really streamline that. And then, just really offer some really good comfort food too, because I think that's what people want right now. So that was one thing on that front. And then also the cocktail program. A lot of our, all three of our restaurants have great cocktail programs. So we're able to bottle a lot of our signature cocktails and be able to produce those curbside as well, which has been great. So those are initially some of the few things. I think meal kits we've done. We've put together some really awesome meal kits, some quality meats and vegetables. And I know Luke's just did some wings, and they were doing fillets and stuff like that. People want that good quality stuff that you can't really get at the stores right now. So we were doing a lot of these really large meal kits with instructions on how to cook. And even family meals too. We were just putting together some good family meals as well that feed 2 to 4 people as well. So I think all of that, it was kind of how we've kind of really switched and changed things up.
Thank you, Tim. That was a great overview. Mark, would you share a little bit about what you all have done over the last few weeks?
Sure. Well, for us, things have really changed, maybe even a little bit more than Tim's operation, in the sense that we're used to doing, off-premise events, full-service events, all over town, multiple events. And so for us, we had 100 events booked between April and May that all have been postponed or canceled, which means that a number of our staff are not working. And so we literally had to come up with a totally new concept for us, because we've never, as some of you know, we've never had a delivery service. I mean, we're a catering company, but we've really concentrated on full service. So service is a big part of what we do. So, you know, after a couple of weeks ago, when we really knew that things weren't going to happen in terms of social gatherings, my leadership team got together, and literally within 24 hours, we put together a website. We thought, okay, this is the time. This is going to be the bridge that's going to get us across to being the life of the party again. But we knew that we needed to provide something for our clients, for the community. And I feel like Tim is doing and all the other restaurateurs, they're really providing a service right now. This isn't about profit. This is about really just maintaining. So that's really what we're doing. We're trying to, we look at this as we're providing a service to the community, and we're building relationships. And I just have all the respect in the world for all of the food service people right now, because while we're doing business and we're making people happy, behind the scenes, it's tough. I mean, we know we're going through a lot. Tim knows, he's shaking his head. I know he's had the same conversations with his staff as we've had with ours. So it's been really tough. But the amazing thing to me has been the response from the community, how they're responding to our meals, and the fact that we're doing something totally different that hasn't been available to a lot of the people that attend our events. So we put together, we're doing pretty much right now all family meals. They're 4 to 6 people. Like Tim, a big part of ours, our model right now at Arthur's is taking care of our people, taking care of the food, going to all the extra steps that we need to make to keep things clean and sanitized. We've really, we've done we are always, in the restaurant business, that's a top concern to us, especially doing off-premise events. But now we're taking all those extra steps, and we're washing our hands 3, 4, 5, 6 times every hour. But the safety of the community, the safety of our product is important. We are putting out a new menu each week. We started last week with 3 different options. We have 3 options this week. Next week, we're adding a Passover and Easter option for those people, since we have the holiday coming. And the one thing that we can't do, because our license doesn't let us do it, is to do cocktails, out the door. But I would highly recommend that you go down and get a white linen bottle from Luma, as I've seen. I haven't done it yet. I'm too busy, but I really need one of those. So I will be down there, Tim, sooner or later. But so that's kind of what we're doing. We're happy. It's a challenge for us. It's something different. It's food, but it's different. And so I think for a lot of our staff and the culinary team that we've been able to keep in line, they're engaged with it, and we're just excited to be able to provide something a little bit different to the community.
I'm going to jump in here, guys. I think one of the interesting features of this is that I don't think the genie's going back into the bottle. When all this is over again, I don't think that we're going to be able to have the legislature swoop in and say, guess what, Tim, you can't sell white linens in a bottle from the curb anymore. I think there are going to be some interesting disruptions in the restaurant scene after this. I'm curious to think about what you all have thought about what are some disruptions that may be things that you keep. Maybe, like, I hadn't thought about ever being able to pick up one of Mark's meals to go. Maybe Mark carries on a to-go piece because his brand is so reliable. And if I've got relatives coming to town, instead of risking it with my amount of time I've got available, I may just now get on Mark's website and say, I want a family meal for 8 or something like that. What are some of the things you all have thought about might be keepers from these business models that you've innovated at the moment? Or maybe you haven't had time to think about that yet because you're just running around like crazy people.
Well, I think that's one. I mean, these family meals are definitely one, and we've definitely tweaked our menu so that it travels well, and I think that is something that will probably continue. We've always been we're never really focused on to go with our model, but with this, it's allowed us to break into that. We see that we can do it. We can do it well. We can modify a menu for it to travel. So I think that's one, and hopefully we can continue to do these cocktails to go as well. But those 2 things would be, I guess, game changers.
I think you can count on the liquor lobbyists to be swooping in right on Tallahassee to make sure you guys get to keep that privilege after this is all over.
Yeah.
Mark, what about for you? Do you guys see a path through to keeping any of the things that you've innovated, or you're going to get right back to doing the big event work and being grateful for the opportunity to go back to what y'all do best?
Well, I can tell you that that my staff really is looking forward to the day when we can do events again. And I know our business is so strange because it's a difficult business, and most restaurateurs like Tim, they think of catering, they think, what a nightmare, right? I mean, it's like moving a whole restaurant around. And as simple as this seems, it's a challenge, but I think it's a good challenge. And I don't know. We're saying right now it's a bridge. But I don't know. I don't know if it'll be something that will continue. I know that it's something that for the last 30 years, more than once or twice a month, I've had people ask us, would you do delivery? Would you open up a gourmet market? Would you do, takeout? So we're not counting anything out right now. We're just we're trying to figure it out. I mean, it's all virtual. We're doing everything, all the advertising. We don't really have an advertising model. People don't know us like this. So actually reaching people is probably our biggest challenge outside of our own community of clients and neighbors and friends.
Yeah.
Mark, you set up my next question perfectly. I'd love to know how people are finding out about what you guys are each individually doing. What are the tools that are helping the most? And I know social media helps us communicate almost in real time. What are you finding the most helpful ways to keep your client base engaged and aware of what you're doing now in this unique time?
Well, for us, it's really social media, because that's kind of the platform that our business, is based on, and that's how people see us. That's how they, whether it's weddings or events, it's a very visual thing that we do. So that's what we did first. The first week we actually just engaged on social media. We didn't do anything else. And again, we're starting out fresh, something new, something different. So we did that, and that was very successful. We did about 1,000 meals, I would say, total. This week we've added a little bit more widespread email blast to our customers and people that we've done business with in the past, the last 5 years, and we're getting another influx from that right now. We've not yet gone out and tried to market any other way. We'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. I mean, I'm not sure how much longer this is going to last, but I have a feeling we're settling in for a while, and we'll find other avenues to reach people, as the weeks go on.
What about for you, Tim? What's worked the best for y'all in terms of reaching your audience?
It's really the same at this point. We've got our email blast that we email out. We got quite a few people in our database. That's number one, and also social media. Those are our two avenues at this point. So there's really nothing else. And obviously, if this does continue, like Mark says, we're going to need to try to find other creative ways to reach. But right now, those are our two resources.
So we talk internally on our team about this is a time for capacity building. What do we wish we could be doing in our normal days at work that we just don't have time for? And why I'm challenging our team to think about what new capacity can we build while we're changing our business model, some of which will be temporary and some of it will endure. We've had people talking to us for 2 years about providing webinars, and we're like, oh, we just don't have time to develop the technology and all that stuff to get webinars going. Well, guess what? We're in the webinar business now. So we'll be keeping webinars as a piece of the way we deliver content and connect with our audience. But I'm curious about some of the ways that you guys are measuring success, how you're looking at what's working, how you're refining your audience, your offering based on the success metrics that you're using. To look at, are there capacity building or brand loyalty moments that you can create in some of the slower pieces where you could film your chefs preparing the at-home dinner and a more connective, tissue-driven experience for your clients? Have you started working through those pieces? I feel like this is for us the first week that we felt like we could breathe. I felt like the past 2 weeks we've just been running around like headless chickens, and maybe you haven't gotten there yet, but I'd be curious to hear if you've started thinking about how you can create more customer loyalty or brand connectivity moments.
Well, like this is, for us, this is happening so quickly. So we're really not there yet. We are we're diving into like what's next now that we are settling in and we look like it's going to be a little bit. I think we're in that mode now. So how can we creatively do this? We did run a promotion just to try to build, which was, you know, for every $50 you spend with us, we throw a $10 gift card in your bag. So we're trying to get creative that way to try to, you know, get more little repeat. But we definitely need to get creative and put our thinking cap on in there just to try to build more.
And Tim, I sent my teenage kids to pick up our Prado order. They came home and said, Mom, they gave us a $10 gift card, which we threw away, by the way, Tim. We're not using that. But anyway,
come on, you got to use it
in the bag. And they were all excited about it. They're like, Mom, this is so cool. We get Prado at home and we got a $10 gift card. So that's a really smart move. Mark, what are you doing? Any things like that you're thinking through how to create those brand moments for your customer?
Well, I think the great thing about what we're doing is we're giving some people the ability to buy our service that normally wouldn't. And I think for us, that's huge, because whether it's a small event or a large event, you know, we're definitely a luxury product. So if you're not invited to an event, a lot of people don't have the opportunity to experience. So I think that's one of the cool things that we're being able to just connect with people. And I do think that there's an opportunity for us. And even if it's not maybe year round, obviously, you know what our business is like in December. And to run a side business delivering, that might be tough, but this could be a possibility. Our summertime is very slow, and we've tried over 30 years a zillion different things that most of them haven't worked. You know, as the town has grown, our summers have gotten a little bit bigger, but we do about 25% of our business, compared to other months in the summer. So this could be a bridge for that time. You know, it'll help keep some of our staff busy. And so like Tim, we're just kind of treading water right now. And we're hopefully, as the weeks go on, we'll have more opportunities and we'll think of more opportunities.
Well, we think you're doing more than treading water, and our staff are kind of students of best practice in our community. And we really wanted y'all to be on this webinar because we noticed that you're really leading the pack. Certainly Tim with the bounce back gift cards and the to-go orders. And then Mark, one of the things that impresses us is we've seen you personally respond to every social media post. Talk to us about that. That level of investment is insane right now, and that builds loyalty to your brand, because we all know right now we're responsible for the payroll of all the families that are in our care. And we've got to do everything we can to keep everything moving in the right direction while we're responsible for that. I think as a customer, I love seeing what you're doing to be the face of Arthur's, to show that you're putting your whole self into personally guaranteeing the quality that you're overseeing all this. And that's a pretty big brand moment. Can you tell us about some of the things that we may not be able to see that you're doing to put your whole self into this? Because I think that's kind of who you are.
Well, I think, we're doing a lot of things. I mean, one of the things we're doing right now is we're trying to stay connected, in addition to everything that we're doing in the community, we're really trying to stay connected with our staff. You know, we had a staff the week before the writing was on the wall. We had 180 people on our payroll. And Tim knows this just like I do. And now we have a much smaller, team that's working. And so one of the things that we're doing is we have an engaged Arthur's Team Facebook page. And so our staff are connecting there, whether it's to help each other just file for, maybe some unemployment or find jobs and things like that. We have a Martini Monday that we do with our staffs the first Monday of every month. And this was a really cool thing that I didn't even know was happening until yesterday afternoon. And yesterday afternoon was Martini Monday, but we can't socialize. Usually it's at a bar or at some place where people can just kind of casually get together. And we did a virtual Martini Monday. So everybody Zoomed in and everybody had a cocktail and they engaged, and they were able to share their experience of what's going on the last 2 weeks. It's been emotional. There's a lot of people grieving. Everybody's grieving right now.
Yeah.
So that's been a big part of what we've been doing, besides focusing on this new little venture outside. We've spent a lot of time inside connecting with our people because they're family, and that's our culture. And I mean, our people are, they're just heartbroken, and and I'm heartbroken for them, and I know Tim feels the same way. It's a tough situation. So the fact that we're trying to do a lot on social media, and I try to get back, I'm trying to pay attention. And it's not something I do all the time, but now I feel like it's super important. I mean, every order to me means a lot. It means a lot to our team. They're supporting our team. I mean, the bottom line is not the bottom line anymore. It's about just support in general for what we're doing. And like I said earlier, I feel like all of these restaurants are truly just providing a service. I mean, it's just a service that they're providing, and they're just trying to stay connected to the community. So the people, really, at the end of the day, that's what's important here. It's about the people. We're going to withstand this. We're going to get through it. We're going to be stronger. We're going to persevere. We're going to have better character. But just to stay connected with people, that's what this is about for us, and it's what it's most important for me.
Right.
And I think the thing that we found out about was that you guys, I think, Mark, were texting people thank you notes when they picked up their order. I mean, that's a pretty great game right there. That's very impressive. Tim, what did you want to share? Sorry.
Well, just on the family side in our team, we are, one thing that we're doing for our team is feeding them every day. So they call the day before and they RSVP, and we put together a to-go box for every one of our team members, and they can come through and drive through our curbside and pick up food. So that's the way we're kind of staying engaged with them a little bit, because you're right, we can't gather, but we're feeding everyone every day and their families. So I think that's great. I feel real good about that. But he's also right. Right now, it's not about dollars. It's just about making sure that we're providing and we're taking care of our guests and our family. And we'll definitely get through that. Yeah, cost of goods are just out the window at this point.
So tell us a little bit more about culture, because you've touched on that a little bit. And I know that I've had 2 roles as an entrepreneur in my life, and people think being an entrepreneur is glamorous. And I'm going to watch both of your faces as I say that, because it's absolutely not. But it does teach you skills of nimbleness and speed and collaboration. And you just get in there and you just pivot and do when you're an entrepreneur. And I think both of you have brought a sense of entrepreneurship to this pivot. For us, we have entrepreneurship in our team, and I think that's been key for our team to collaborate on solutions and action them really quickly, because we don't have a choice. We got to step in and support this business community, and we've got to do it yesterday. So our team worked really hard to do that because we already had the culture in place to behave like that. Talk about some of the features of your culture that have helped you make this pivot quickly, that clearly were already there. We heard you talk about the heart, and Tim, you feeding your people, and Mark, you looking after your people. But talk to us about a little bit more of like what sits at that heart of that culture that made, was it nimbleness? Was it speed? Was it collaboration? What were those things that made that so successful?
Well, for us, I mean, it's, we're ever moving, right? In our business, we're always moving, so being stagnant, being still is just not what we do. And I can tell you, after one day of sitting still, our team all wanted to jump in and do something. To be honest with you, I was more concerned about the people that weren't working than I was about the future. I couldn't even get there. And so I'll be honest with you, my team pretty much led the charge in getting this delivery, service going. I mean, I basically was, in an office, between crying and, and taking phone calls and nurturing people. They were planning. So I have a lot of respect for our people. And I say every year I get a little bit smaller. And I think that's part about growing a business, right? I mean, the goal is just to not being as involved. And so I'm super proud of our team and what they've done. And they're grieving too. Everybody's grieving, and it's hard. It's hard for people who are coming to work every day right now. And for us, honestly, the people who are here, they're busy. We're super busy. And so I don't know that anything happened that doesn't normally happen. Is just the way our people are. I think they just react and they respond. And we have emergencies all the time in our business. It's what makes us good at what we do. As long as the customers, don't know that we're having emergencies, then life is good. So we're used to working in tough situations like this.
What about for you, Tim, on the culture side?
Well, I think it starts, like I'm sure with Mark, that culture starts a long time ago when you start your business. You really you involve your team. You do a lot of communication. We do so much in the restaurant with our team to communicate and involvement that they really feel like they're part of a family. We do a lot of stuff outside of the restaurant together, and that's created this culture and created this family environment. So now when you have a crisis like this, like Mark said, everyone just really comes together and really helps one another. So I think, I mean, there are a lot of things that we do to create that culture and to create that family. You know, one of them, again, there's many, but you know, we meet every day. We used to meet every day. We get everyone. There's a lot of involvement, and very inclusive. But we also do a lot of stuff outside the restaurant that really draws us together. And we just, you know, we really preach that, and it's very important. So that's where that culture created. It's been over the years, it's evolved. You know, now when you're in a moment like this, it's really amazing to see everyone come together. It really is.
Well, what I want to do at this point is open it up for questions. We've got about 31 people on the call, and I know other people are going to have questions. So I'm going to let our Zoom master, Mark, when you talked about how your team just took stuff and ran with it, we didn't know anything about Zoom 2 weeks ago, and now Amy Morgan's the queen of Zoom. She's got all her polls, and it's amazing. So I'm going to let her open it up for questions. If you've got questions, you can either put them in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and Amy will call on you to ask a question. And then I'll close this up with a couple announcements after we've gotten some questions. But these are some really cool, inspiring stories. What I'm seeing come through with both of you is your business is so much more than a business. It's a life calling, and that you're leading your business with your heart. We certainly see all that heart in the way you do your business, the quality of your product. Mark, I'd like my mashed potatoes in a martini glass when I drive by to pick them up. That would be fantastic. But I really appreciate your inspiring us with the way that you've tackled these things and sharing so much of your heart and what this is like for you. I think it's important for us to stop and think about, this is a really painful time for our world. And, you know, we're working basically night and day to try to figure out key priorities for our community. The first of which is accessing capital, knowing how to access capital. We focus on that every day. If you don't know how to access capital, go on our website and we're going to help you out with that. That's really important. And then the second thing is, we're going to start shifting toward making sure people know where to find food. Second Harvest Food Bank, we've got a partnership with them. We're going to start helping meet basic needs. And then we are going to lead the agenda for how we rebuild our economy. So we've got a lot of work to do, and we just appreciate the inspiration of people like you guys who are leading the way and pivoting and making really cool business moves as we go through a difficult time. So I'm going to kick it over to Amy now to start our question process.
Okay, so we are opening the webinar for questions, and what that means is you can share your question with us in two ways. You can click on the chat box and type it out, or you can raise your hand, which is what we would prefer, and ask your question. You can find either of those options at the bottom of your screen. If you're on your computer, hover on the bottom portion of your screen and a banner will appear. You can click raise hand, and we'd be happy to unmute you so you can ask your question. In addition, you can find the chat box icon there, and you can type your question out to us. If you're on your phone, you'll find 3 dots where you can find all the Zoom options. So again, that's chat box or raise hand, and I'll unmute you. Don't be shy. This is our new way to engage through Zoom, so please go ahead with your questions. Anything yet? I'll start off with a question from me, if that's okay, Betsy.
Yeah, of course.
So over the last couple of weeks during these new offerings, wondering if you had any promotions that you found very effective. I loved hearing about the gift card in the to-go order. Was there anything else that you put out there that you found was very effective?
Well, on our end, we when we started doing the meal kits, that was probably as soon as we did it, we sold out within 30 minutes. We did like 20 meal kits, or I think it was, and within an hour they were gone. And we're like, okay, well, we got to get better prepared for that. So I think that was one where we were putting nice quality reserved steaks and you know, just a full kit of and instructions on how to cook everything. We thought that was very successful. So that's something that we're going to continue to do.
Thank you. Okay, looking for questions. Haven't seen anything yet. Oh, Mark, would you like to answer? We'd love to. No,
that's fine. I was just going to say, I think in terms of us, we're still, you know, Tim's ahead of us in that respect. He's already done 2 or 3 different things. We're still just figuring out how to kind of be a restaurant. That's kind of what we are, a little bit of to-go restaurant. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll have some promotions. We are doing Easter and Passover next week. So it's not out yet, but it will be out on tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow's on Thursday. You'll hear about that. So that's one thing we're doing.
Same here.
Thank you.
I have a question for you guys. Are either of you including toilet paper in your to-go kits?
We're thinking about, we didn't do the toilet paper, but we were giving toilet paper to our staff when they were picking up their family meal. But we weren't putting that in there. It's a great idea, but we were like doing eggs and butter and milk, and we were doing things like that, some of those necessities to cook with.
And we have not yet done toilet paper either. I don't know that that's a plan. I know it's needed, but I'm not sure that we have a lot of toilet paper here. So
yeah. Well, some restaurants are doing that. I think it shows a lot of ingenuity because you can't get it. It's almost like a black market for it.
Yeah, well, we got a ton of it, so it's like I get it.
Okay, we do have a question from the audience. Nancy, I have unmuted you and you are welcome to speak. You'll just have to unmute yourself on your end.
Got it. Okay. First of all, thank you to both of you for sharing what your businesses are doing. I think it's great. The Women's Club, of course, has lost a lot of rentals as you know your events have gone down. We keep our money in separate piles, so we just send out $10,000 worth of checks to local charities. And our scholarship committee is going to be handing out about $44,000 worth of scholarships to local students. We're just going through the applications now. Our biggest issue is operating expenses. Our utility bill doesn't stop because our events were canceled. And, you know, so we're all working through this. I appreciate what you guys are doing. It's really heartwarming to hear that you're providing meals for your employees. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Okay, last call for questions. A reminder, you can do so in two ways, through the chat box or through the raise hand feature. And you can find both of those options at the bottom of your screen, be it on your computer or on your iPhone. So last call for questions.
So I'd love to know what you guys have got planned for maybe the rest of the week or next week, or anything else you want our audience to know before we wrap up. I'm curious to see what's going to be in the kits coming up.
Well, on our end, I know Chef was, he's working with the chefs right now, whether or not we're going to do like pork loins or we're going to do hams. The hams are more of a process because there's a brining, there's a 2 or 3 day brining process. So there may be a little bit, but that's kind of the perfect thing to do for Easter. But we are going to be doing an Easter kit like Mark's going to be doing. I don't know all the details, you know, Chef's working that diligently now, Chef Brandon McGlamory, on what those are going to look like. But I think they're either going to be pork loins or hams or something like that with all the great, you know, sides that'll go with that. So.
Well, and our plan, like Tim, is we are doing kind of a Passover Easter friendly, you know, menu. And we will have, I believe we're doing farm-raised salmon as well as brisket. And I'm not sure what all the sides are yet. I know Chef is working on that, but those will be family meals ready to heat and serve for 6 to 8 people. Right now, our family meals that we're delivering to households are 4 to 6. So we're doing 6 to 8 people for those. And those will be available starting next Wednesday for Passover through Saturday for Easter.
Great. Is there anything else you want our audience to know about what you guys are doing or what's coming up before we finish up?
No, that's about it right now. You know, again, every day it's we're learning and we're getting creative and doing different things. I know there was a lot of debate of whether or not you could do these to-go cocktails, and there was something that just came out that they've relaxed those laws. I know there's been a lot of debate whether you can actually just do an actual cocktail to go, but they did relax those laws. So if anyone is out there and is concerned, we are good to go on that. As long as they're sealed and all that, you're good to go.
If anyone's concerned about where to get their white linen fix, you're able to tell them how to get it done. I love it, Tim.
Absolutely.
Well, we want to thank our presenters, Tim and Mark from Park Lights, Luma, Prado, and Luke's, and then Arthur's for being with us today. You guys have been some real innovators and leaders in our community today, so thank you so much for sharing what you and your teams have done. I want to remind you all to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And if you don't yet subscribe to our newsletter, please go to our website and subscribe. That way you'll get our daily briefings. Our daily briefings boil down what's going on in Washington, Tallahassee, at the county and the city level, because that is like stapling Jello to the wall. That is happening very, very, very fast and changing every day. So we distill that for you and put it into a briefing that's unique and customized to Winter Park. So our new webinar is, we have an upcoming webinar on Thursday, April 2nd. And it's a really, really good piece of content. It's what the CARES Act means for you. And we've had our lobbyist, Brent Manning, is one of the lobbyists with the United States Chamber out of Washington. He'll be on that call helping us unpack that 900-page bill. And he'll be available to answer your questions about what's in the CARES Act for your business and you. And on Friday, we've got Good Morning Winter Park. Health and well-being during the pandemic is going to be led by Lindsay Kist and Kate Stone, and Sarah Wright, who are all from the Center for Health and Well-Being, and they're going to share some best practice with us on Friday morning. So we're looking forward to that. We do have content every day to help people access capital and learn how to navigate these uncertain waters. We want to be able to create a place for people to come together, be inspired, perform at their highest in their businesses, and know that their community cares for them and that we've got resources. So thank you all very much for spending time with us today, especially to our speakers. Thanks again. And we hope to see you all again soon on one of our webinars.
Thanks, guys. All the best, Tim.
Take care.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you both for joining.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for everyone for attending, and we hope to see you on our future webinars. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.